Welcome to Pineland Underground,
the official podcast of the United States Army's John F. Kennedy Special Warfare Center and School, and the best podcast in the military.
bold, real, and unrestricted.
Support the resistance by liking and subscribing on whatever outlet you listen to us on.
This helps us expand our listenership.
We're your hosts,
Major Bobby Tuttle,
Sergeant Major Chuck Ritter.
and welcome to Pineland Underground.
All right, today's episode is going to be pretty short, just ringing in the new year. We want to really cover really quick some of our accomplishments last year, which we're pretty proud of, and then what we're looking forward to getting ourselves into for the rest of this year. So, Bobby, this is the first time we've been back in the studio now for what? Almost a month, right?
Yeah, since beginning of December. So it's been a couple weeks, that's for sure. But welcome to 2023.
Plan on taking a little break, so we didn't release anything for the last couple weeks, but looking forward to getting back into it. We have some episodes in editing right now that we'll be releasing soon. So you want to cover what we accomplished last year, what we thought we were going to try to accomplish, and what we actually...
Yeah, so when we set out on this journey of starting and kind of rebranding Pineland Underground into the official podcast of the Special Warfare Center and School, our goal was to, really a lofty goal, right? 50,000 listeners across the episodes, relevant episodes, argumentative episodes, entertaining episodes, and things that are incredibly informative and insightful to our
Which is
force.
hard, right? Because Special Warfare Center and School, like, who cares, right? Like, I wouldn't want to listen to that.
Yeah.
And definitely don't want to listen to some major and some sergeant major run their suck from the Special Warfare Center and School.
And it's an official military podcast, right?
Yeah.
Okay, it's probably going to be,
It's probably going to be real stupid.
scrutinized, not censored, but definitely scrutinized a bit, and then under a fine-tooth comb.
It's going to feel like AFN, right? Like your awesome AFN commercials.
No, but with the trust and really the creative autonomy that was given to us as a team when we started working together, laid out our plan, how we wanted to do this, who our listeners were, and how we wanted to tackle the topics, the themes, the guests, the inspirations, and the motivations across our force, across all three RSOF branches of civil affairs, psychological operations, and special forces. We set a goal of 50,000 listeners by the end of 2022, and not necessarily
Not listeners, listens.
50,000 listens.
Yeah.
And the whole goal was to make it successful, to get good feedback, qualitative feedback from people out there saying, hey, we like what you're doing. SWCS has a new brand within Pineland Underground, and it's no longer that kind of pejorative type term that we've really heard. It's, that's something I want to be a part of. That's a family I want to go to, and that's the institution that is really the tip of the spear of what we're doing within special operations.
Yeah, and we crushed that goal, right?
Yeah, so as of the 1st of January 2023, we sat at just over 74,000 total listens across the episodes. So we have 55 total episodes in-house, and of that, Chuck and I are responsible for, I think, about 35 of those, all within a year, releasing those every 2 weeks with the occasional bonus episode just like this. So a huge shout out to the team that we've got. Jason Gambardella, who's sitting here right next to us listening, and our mastermind, really making sure it's professional and editing it for us. Tommy Stanley is no longer with our team, but really helped us spark and ignite it. And then, of course, all of the people we've had across the SWCS team, the Office of Strategic Communications, and the Public Affairs team, the commanding general, and the support. But really, huge shout out to the RSOF force and the people who are listening and giving us that credibility, giving this brand, really that street credit, and encouraging us to continue doing what we're doing and get the message out of those inspirational people and stories that we want to get out to the force. So really big shout out to everybody out there listening right now. Thank you.
And the whole way you just worded that, you get 2 officer points because it was officer-licious. It was great. I'm proud of everything we've accomplished, and it's really, like you said, that goes to the people that listen in and actually make it successful. But I just want to go over some future episodes, what we have in the shoot right now in editing and what we have planned, so you have a solid understanding of where this is going to go in the future, and then hit one topic each that's on the minds of, me and Bobby that we think is important coming up that we're going to focus on in the future too. So real quick, so we've already done an episode with the Command Sergeant Major of the Special Warfare Center. That's in editing. That's going to come out pretty soon. We're doing one next week with the Special Operations Command Sergeant Major. He's about to be their new Sergeant Major of the Army,
Yeah.
CSM Weimer. We've got Hendricks Motorsports in the docket. They have the winningest team in NASCAR history, and the way they build their internal culture it's impressive. So we're going to have them on and discuss the mechanics of building a winning team and how to create that culture. We're going to do a new surviving selection where we cover prepping yourself mentally and physically for any selection. And then we're going to do a deep dive into what to expect for Special Forces from somebody that's in the Q course right now, from what they expected to what they actually went through and how to better prep yourselves. And we got James Kerr coming on. He's the author of Legacy, one of our favorite books. We talk about another one on culture because we really define that. He breaks it down into terms that are pretty awesome and applicable to anybody.
If I could just chime in right now real quick, Chuck. So as you talked about Hendricks Motorsports, you're talking about James Kerr and Legacy. He followed the All Blacks as the winningest rugby team in history.
Sports team in history, right? For the record, yeah.
Yeah, globally. That's where Special Operations gets a lot of the inspiration and ideas. We compete on a daily basis. We hire people, men and women who are competitive and driven and have that grit. And we look to athletes who do it at a world-class high level. So we kind of look at the traits that they do to bring in the right people, to onboard people, to instill that culture so people will be part of that team. And again, you have to try out for Special Operations. Just like any of those entities at a world-class, high elite level, you have to try out as well. You are the very top percentage. So these are great lessons we're going to pull from those people out there who do it within the sports realm, within the business realm, and of course as we do it within the Department of Defense realm.
Yeah. If you ever read Legacy, I'd recommend reading it. There's two books I ever recommend to people. It's reading Legacy and then Endurance. It's about the Shackleton expedition because they got stuck for years, right? But he brought the whole crew back.
They found that ship too.
Yeah,
the ship was located just a few months ago.
But a great story. If you ever feel like, oh man, I should just quit on something in life, you go back and read that story. You're like, wow, that was. The culture there too is pretty amazing to me that they were able to create that culture where everybody survived was pretty cool. But anyway, let's go to topics. You wanna hit yours first, or should I go with what's on my mind?
No, I'll hit mine real quick. So I had a great conversation with a buddy of mine. Again, we're coming out of the holidays. Just came out of Christmas and New Year's. And one of the most unique things I think we have in Special Operations is we train our people to a very high level. They spend time on a team, whatever the detachment level is within Civil Affairs, psyop, and Special Forces. But once they grow and develop and they've got that experience, understand how the team works, move out of command position, then in a staff position, we continue to progress those people. And as their careers continue to progress, they have the opportunity to move out and serve as in liaison type positions or functional area type positions where they do something a little bit more niche for the Army, the big Army in general, but they have a Special Operations background and training and experiences. And so I was talking to a buddy of mine. He works at the HQDA, it's the headquarters of the Department of the Army out in Tokyo for the Japanese Self-Defense Force, and he is an American Special Forces soldier who's now a FAO, Foreign Area Officer, and he is fluent in Japanese. And I just want to say, one of the most unique things that we have is we grow our people, continue to progress them, and we move them out across the globe, across to places and implant them as onesies and twosies to really be ground sensors, advisors, provide coaching and mentorship, and then see where we, the United States, and our Special Operations wing of the military can best fit in to assist, to help out, to influence, or provide resources and leadership and support. And so that's been on my mind as there's great opportunities across the globe where we send Special Operations people and those onesies and twosies to work out of embassies, to work with larger military entities. As we had the SFabulous, we've got SOF people, our SOF people in the SFAB, working with conventional force units across the globe, not just Special Operations. And that really pays tribute to our ability to partner with people, to understand people, to know them on that cultural basis, develop real relationships around, the military, but yes, around family, or yes, around travel and adventure. And we send people out across the globe, and it's just kind of awe-inspiring in how well we do that, and then what they continue to do, maybe a little tethered to the soft environment, but they're out there doing great things on our behalf, and they're acting as sensors for our people and making sure that the United States is well represented out to the globe. That's been on my mind.
I like it. Yeah.
And shout out, that was Major Derek Smith, a longtime first grouper who I spent time in Okinawa with, taking his family out to Tokyo and doing great things, with the Japanese at the headquarters of the Department of the Army. So.
Nice. Oh, yeah. Well, I guess it's over to me then, huh?
Over to you, Chuck. What's on your mind, man?
The big thing on my mind lately has been the Ukraine war, all right? Regardless of what your opinion is on the war itself, the lessons that we can take from it, I think, are pretty incredible. I think if we don't wrap our heads around this sooner rather than later, we're going to find ourselves in a pretty big deficit, because this is Lisco gone wild, right? This is everything you'd ever want to know about a conflict. And I spend a couple hours a day just studying the war. I look at all the stuff coming out of Russia, the stuff coming out of Western stuff, and the things we have access to, right? And then looking at some of the lessons learned. But this is one of those wars where they're using everything that is technologically available. But on the flip side, too, what happens when it gets shut off, right? Russians' jamming capabilities are incredible. I found that out in Syria, to where they can shut up everything. So find yourself in an environment where you have to be able to use all the technology and all the advances that we have. What happens when it's shut off? What happens when it's so cold outside for so long you don't have power generation, that you don't have any more batteries for your more ballistic computer, and you don't have GPS? So now you're running on paper maps. You're having to use your plotting boards. But then on the flip side of that, how to use all your drones and all the cool guy stuff that's available. And I would just say that there's some really cool studies out there. RUSI came out with a recent study where they went on the ground in Ukraine and they took a bunch of the captured documents from the Russians when they came down from Belarus and Kiev, and it really studied what was Russia planning to do, what was their thought process, what actually happened, and then how did it play out on the ground from the Ukraine side. And it comes down, there's a lot of luck involved with what happened, but the ability of the Ukrainians to self-organize and work in a mission command environment, and for actual villages to self-organize. There was a whole village that had no military there, but they self-organized, and they came up with a way to deter a whole Russian special operations component coming in, which was pretty incredible. But just going through those kind of studies and wrapping our heads around what is happening there on the ground and how can we apply that in our own special operations, or even just in the military when it comes to large-scale combat operations or MDO, multi-domain operations. Like, that's the real deal right there, and there can be a lot learned. And I think if you're in the military and you're not studying that, you're probably missing out, because you can gain a lot from that. I mean, I do every day. I'm like, wow, this is another cool thing. That the other day I was reading a study that Russians jamming, like, it was 90% effective. And I saw it in Syria. Like, they're very good at certain things. They have some systems that are almost terrifying to look at if they could pull it off. Like, their fire control systems for artillery is terrifying when you look at what it's designed to do with what their their Orlan 10 and the 30 are designed to do with their systems and fire support computers. But they can't actually pull it off, thankfully. But just seeing what those capabilities are and how it's been playing on the ground, it's for any future conflict, whether it's with China or Russia or even what we're doing with deterrence around the globe, it's something you should dig into and see what's going on.
And to help you dig into some of that, we're going to focus our next few Pineland Underground episodes on some of those lessons and the situation that's currently unfolding over there. Again, so we're going on almost a year of large-scale combat operations in Ukraine, and these are things that our military and our professionals in this line of service are watching very closely and learning from. Like you just said, Chuck, like, okay, technologically savvy weapon systems and incredibly technologically savvy individuals, but also the ability to flip that switch and go super rudimentary
map
with
and compass,
analog
right?
Products, which, for a lot of our listeners out there, that's the way that things were kind of in your earlier days, but you got to be a jack of all trades.
You got to be able to do both, right?
Yep. No. If you want to have success and survivability and lethality on the battlefield, you got to be able to do both. So we're going to bring in some guests here in the next few weeks to focus on some of these lessons, things that we're seeing, some more common themes on this, and then some parallels to things that happened in the past that we're seeing right now too. This is a hell of a time to be in special operations, as far as seeing the way we're moving forward and moving forward in the right direction with our partners is incredible right now.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it.
I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a good year. I'm excited. Real quick, I've toned down my voice, right? Because, after Chewy just destroyed me on that one episode where he's talking about my snap it to a Slim Jim voice. I'm going to bring that back occasionally, right? But I've had, we've got the editor. He's turning down the bass of my voice now. So he's actually, because I sound so awesome that he's actually editing it to where I don't sound, so bassy. So I appreciate that over there, Jason.
I just thought you had a few hottie toddies over the holiday with that honey and the tea as you kind of sip those out of your little teapots.
It's hard sounding this awesome, That's my two strengths and weaknesses in life, Bobby.
Sounding too awesome?
No, how my sheer awesomeness and how much humility I have in life.
I love it. Hey, so again, this is a quick Bobby and Chuck experience too. Every once in a while, we'll just drop an episode, talk about what's on our mind. But we wanted to come in out of the holiday and into the new year. One, say we truly appreciate everybody out there who listens to this, who has shared, who has provided feedback and suggestions and connected us with other great people that we can have on the show. It's truly about having a dialogue amongst professionals, but also making sure that our audience members know what it is Special Operations does, can prepare to join our regiment, and is excited, is motivated. And again, we want to thank you all for the success of Pineland Underground and continuing to promote the John F. Kennedy Special Warfare Center and School.
This one's short because I have to go outside and yell at people for walking on the grass.
Do they have road belts on?
I don't know. We're going to go find out.
All right. Again, if you guys like us, please do. Please like us. Leave feedback.
Us a 5-star review.
Yeah. Leave some good comments. We're all about that. We read them. We appreciate them. We take them all very seriously. And we want to share that success and that feedback across our team here.
Yeah. And you can email us too, right? At pinelandunderground@gmail.com. Let us know what you think. It could be good, bad. We're going to read it. We'll get back with you.
All right. Thanks for joining us in Pineland Underground. We'll see you next time. Cheers.